Wike has made a lot of bold statements recently, and daring ones, I mean, if you like to add. It's a wake-up call.
Welcome to episode 27 of Reactions with Mr. Sao. Joining me today is Mr. Wale Bakare.
I don't want to say it's a pleasure to be here again.
Please, don't formal. We've done enough of that behind the scene. And we have a guest today, Mr. Nimi. Please introduce yourself. I like the guests to introduce themselves. So.
Like full name, age, everything.
No, like your name. I don't care about your resume.
Okay, my name is Ojonimi Edime.
Okay, in Dime.
Edime, yeah.
Where did Nimi come from? Sorry.
Ojonimi.
Oh, Ojonimi.
Ojonimi Edime, yeah.
All right. Yes, I'm just meeting him today, so yeah. Don't be wondering how. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. Okay. How you guys doing, Mr. Wale? Have you been looking fresh in your blue?
Blue happens to be my favorite kaftan color. So
okay.
I think I flow well with blue. And the week has been good as well. So yeah,
been good this week. Yeah, last week you were like, oh, the week not too many bad news this week, Abby. No, let's not play on that. Insecurity still going on, even if we're not talking about insecurity today, but insecurity still going on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mr. Nemi, how you feeling?
I'm good.
Are you ready to talk today? Are you ready to react?
Yes, I'm going to react. I'm not going to just talk. I'm going to react and discuss.
Great. Yeah. Anyway, before we get to the topics we're going to be reacting to today, please subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube, like this video, comment and share to your friends as well. All right, let's get straight to business. So the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, on Wednesday ordered all oil companies and other businesses in the state to henceforth pay their value-added tax, that's VAT, to the state government and no longer to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, that's the FIRS, the tax collecting agency of the federal government. Governor Wike lamented on the injustice in the country, saying that Rivers State generated 15 billion naira in June 2021, but only got 4.7 billion naira from the federal government as allocation, while Kaduna State produced 2.8 billion naira in June, the same June, but the federal government gave them 2.8 billion naira as well. So this was after the FIRS on Monday had approached the court for a stay of execution on a judgment delivered last month, which ruled that the Rivers State government has the power to collect VAT within its territory. The presiding judge, Justice Stephen Pam, however, rejected the application by the FIRS. So Governor Wike said that his state will not be bullied by the FIRS using federal might, threatening to seal off the premises of any business or company in the state that continues to pay their VAT to the FIRS from this September. So reacting, the FIRS quickly wrote to the National Assembly to exclusively give its powers over all tax-related matters in the country. It specifically asked the National Assembly for the inclusion of VAT collection in the exclusive legislative list in the 1999 Constitution as amended. It also requested for the establishment of the Federal Revenue Court of Nigeria to fully take over power from the Federal High Court concerning tax matters. Yep. Mr. Wale, yes. So we have watched this play out this week. You know, there was a lot of back and forth between the federal government and the Rivers State government. There's also the Lagos State government, but there was no really back and forth, you know, with the federal government, you know. So it's been Governor Wike versus FIRS. There was a court judgment, you know, there was FIRS running to court as well to counter the judgment or to stay the judgment as we saw, you know, that did not work still. Then we have the FIRS right now running to the National Assembly. to now legalize all tax matters to themselves. So not just that as well, we still have them going to, I didn't like this bit, like, okay, court has delivered a judgment. What are you trying to prove now? Going to the National Assembly, trying to take out the powers of the court so that you will not preside on.
No, I think they had already written to the National Assembly.
Yes,
they wrote to the National Assembly July 1st.
That letter
still based on this, though.
Yes, they wrote it, but that was before the judgment. The judgment was delivered in August.
Yeah, but even notwithstanding, right, you'd expect that if a federal high court in Port Harcourt, Rivers is saying government don't have a right to collect, what I'd expect is the government to go to the appeal court and see it up to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
Then, whatever now happens there, it's a discussion for another day. But not writing to the deputy speaker.
But that's what I'm trying to let you. It was before the judgment. They
but
envisaged that, okay, this
exactly.
case,
that's my point. So you can move. You can even see that you're going to lose the battle and take some preemptive measures to ensure that. I think it's a good development for Rivers, and not only for Rivers, even other states that are trying to build their IGR. I feel Wike has made a lot of bold statements recently, and daring ones, if you like to add. It's a wake-up call, It's so sad that, you can't generate 15.1 billion and get 4.7, while a state who is doing 2.8 billion, destroying our poor, is still getting back their 2.8. So I think it's about time. Like I said, we shied away from having this honest conversation about true federalism. Now it is happening, even though it's not happening the way a lot of us would have expected it.
Yes.
But it has started right before our very eyes, and you can already see the parties that are jittery, the parties that can't meet up are already complaining. So when we look at the IGR table, we realize that where Lagos is even doing like 418 billion, and Rivers is doing 117. Maybe Ogun comes third closely. You can imagine that Lagos State alone is paying about 70% VAT to the federation account. And so it means that you have all these other states like Gombe. Some states actually doing 7, 13. So you're leeching off this big state that are actually, making a lot. And that's why earlier I couldn't fault Lagos State when they were asking for a special status. You can't be making that much. If care is not taken, Lagos is going to be doing almost 1 trillion yearly, annually now in IGR.
They're like a country of their own.
Exactly. You understand what the state would have been able to do with all of that resources which was coming to them. So I think there's no point fighting. This is not even the time to fight. Let everybody be realistic about their targets, what we can get. Like I said earlier, I don't think running to National Assembly, because even if you look at the process of amending and acting the Constitution, it's not an easy process. You will even need the third of the State Assembly. So you're still even going back to this state.
You're going to be representative
assembly
now.
Controlled by the governors to come and seek for, to third of the people that would support the. So I feel instead of this back and forth, we have to start this restructuring that we've so much talked about and yet done nothing about. That's what I think about this situation. So
but do you think there's something the FIRS is scared about? They look desperate to me. What are they scared about?
Okay, so let me even put it this way, right? FIRS is an agency under the federal government. You know why I even think they shouldn't even be scared? Government collects only 15% of that. Only 15%. So what I don't get is, why are you protecting this small economy states?
I think that 15% collected by the federal government is much larger than the 50% that is left to be shared by the 36 states.
Why even
the federal government is 1.
Yes.
So 15% is accrued to them, but the states are 36, and you share 50% across 36 states.
I agree. Imagine if we saw FCT as a state too, and if the government insisted on collecting just like the state, we wouldn't be talking about 15%.
Very
right?
true.
So, and why I said 15 was that government still has seaport, aviation, income, other taxes that they rely on. So to hell with your.
What's the desperate? That's what I was saying.
Yeah, so I still think it's more of the monkey the chop
Monkey they walk.
Mommy they walk.
Monkey they walk, babu they chop. Like you're trying to,
Yeah.
Protect the small state when you can let them know that, look, this is the situation on ground. Then you sit up, you sit tight. You can't be destroying, because for you to raise tax, it means that you have to create products and services.
Yes.
And for you to do that, you need to have an enabling business environment. So if your region is ravaged by insecurity and uncertainty and so many other things, then it means it will affect. So let everybody go back to the drawing board and do the right thing.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Mr. Nimi, what's your take on this?
Okay, first of all, I want us to understand what VAT is. When we say VAT, we hear VAT is simply value-added tax. I'm not going into the academics of it, but it's simply like a consumption tax. You consume this particular product in this particular locality. So you are paying a kind of like a little amount, maybe 5% or 7% of the amount in which you used to purchase that particular product or that particular service. So now, Wike posed a very, very important question. And I keep thinking about that question. Trucks of alcohol are passing through your local and then you destroy them.
Yeah.
You destroy them. But you now turn around and say, okay, those people that have drank that shayo, those people that have drank alcohol, and the money that they are getting, the VAT they are paying, you now want to enjoy from it.
Yeah.
How?
Doesn't make sense.
How can? It's not tenable at all. When I saw the numbers, I was like, no, this is not possible. But that was actually what held sway, because from what Wike said, they generated 15.1 billion in June, but 4.8 billion was sent back to them, which means they were basically just working for people in other states. And you saw the governor of Gombe State came out to say, be your brother's keeper. There's nothing as funny as that.
They sound so lazy.
They sound so lazy. This cap in hand to the federal government every month has made the government become so lazy. That's all the state governments. Now everybody just like, at the end of the month, don't worry, we'll go to Abuja, we'll get one or two things. That is not true federalism. We've been saying restructuring. I was telling Wale before we came on air that the restructuring, I think, is the word. People are just scared of that word. Nigerians, we don't like change. We don't like when they just we're going to change this. They're like, no, we want to remain status quo. We used to do it.
We want change, though.
Yes, we want change.
But like the process of
just like we don't want to die, but we want to go to heaven.
So that kind of thing. So I think with this landmark judgment in Rivers State by at the Federal High Court, I think with this landmark judgment, the restructuring is actually taking place little by little. Over time, we now realize that this is the restructuring we've actually been yearning for. This is what we've been going for. Because you see a state like Lagos State, I think their numbers were about 40-something billion generated as VAT, but they got only 9.6 billion. Do you know, as I'm sitting here now, I still don't believe that is what was happening. And there's no logical explanation for that. FIRS has come to say, a tax has to be administered at national level. They've brought up some arguments that actually don't hold water. You look at states like Canada, they levy taxes at the VAT at the state level and also the national level. So, let's say no two states have the same VAT regime. Yes, let's just take that into consideration. No two states have the same VAT regime. So we cannot say, okay, we are going to copy Canada's system. But that is a system that has actually had that VAT levied at the state level and has been successful. So why can't we bring that here?
Anyway, there's some figures that came out today, so I'm just going to read those. Those were not in our notes. But what's the name of this? Sorry. So the annual State Viability Index of Economical Confidential released some numbers today about states based on the internal revenue generation of states. So they released a report on the states that are doing very greatly and those states that are doing very horribly. But I just want to highlight something here. So talking about Lagos State, so Lagos State last year in 2020 generated 418 billion. Yep. And they received 299 billion naira as federal allocation. So that's a state doing very greatly. And the next state to it was Rivers State. So Wike actually has an argument, like Rivers State generated 117 billion and they got 198 billion from the federal government. But when you go down here, looking at a state like Bayelsa, which was very shameful to me, Bayelsa was the poorest state, But last year,
that's an oil-producing state.
What?
That's an oil-producing state.
Exactly. So I was really shocked. Like Bayelsa State just generated 12.18 billion. And they received 152 billion from the federal government. I feel like if the federal government gives you money, you're supposed to, just like any business now, when they give you money, you're supposed to go and multiply that money.
Very
now.
true.
Go and multiply it. And we just have, it's only Lagos State that did more than they were given. You have Jigawa State, just generating 8.6 billion. And they were given 107. Then you have Kaduna State generating just 11.3 billion, receiving 130 billion. So I'm really in support of this move of states waking up and thinking. State governors, instead of just campaigning for elections, thinking of getting into office and knowing that the federal government is just there. Who will not be relaxed if you're sitting down here today and somebody is just giving you 100 billion? You don't have to think about how you're going to pay your house rent, how you're going to fuel your car. I think it's lazy. It's a lazy system. And whether we like it or not, we need to do away with this system of government that we have. I'm just going to read something here that I saw on Instagram from Tiwa Akobo. So he said, Governor Wike is changing Nigeria in ways we will appreciate in the coming years. Not days or not months, in coming years. He said that states collecting VAT is the right way. It will encourage economic development and creative thinking in serious states. Because the ones that want to be lazy, we still see them there. So, and he said, we are headed to true federalism, one judgment at a time. Yeah. What do you guys think about this state? But I know you just talked about this right now.
Yes.
So you guys have said you guys support this move right now, Do you think this will actually wake these governors up? Or do you think the lazy ones are going to fight this and end this? Because I don't think they're going to let go of this issue of VAT, whatever thing.
No, I think it will work for those of them who are sincere. It will work to their favor. Okay, look at Kano, for instance. You can't, during elections, you can't say you have the population of 2 million voters.
Another argument.
And not have the population, that you can tax.
Because more population, more tax.
Exactly. So I feel that will even make them go back to the drawing board, like I said earlier, to say, okay, look at Nasarawa now. There are a lot of people who live in Nasarawa and work in Abuja. The government too can say, I should even be smiling now. They should be laughing. To say, it's about time. Let's just do this once and for all.
Yes,
you will be balling. Nobody will need to come
buses.
to Abuja, insecurity issue. Deal with it in your state, bring prosperity to your people. So I feel that, Nini said about Nigerians being receptive to change. It is something that it will cause hardship when you start it. Like that's the problem, the process human beings don't want to go through, where you have to make sacrifices at the initial before things begins to normalize.
But how will it cause hardship? They'll make that clear. How would this?
No, I feel that for states who have not been able to, it's not going to, if they decide now, it's not going to happen next month that they start generating at par with what other states are doing. If
they let them right now to keep their VAT, that's a starting point, Abi.
It's not even enough for them.
Yeah, but
they can even see the figure that what they are getting.
But if we have, I think if there's a plan, if there's a plan. So right now, if there's a plan where they're like, okay, within so and so years, we're going to stop whatever. That's enough time for you to start thinking. I feel like every state can generate, and I feel like even these figures, you see me calling 400 and whatever for Lagos. I believe Lagos made more than that if there were proper checks, because we still know there are leakages in the system.
That's another
So I'm just trying to say there's so much money these states can make.
Huge.
Exactly. And we're just talking about VAT here. I think if they even let the federal road safety, whatever, in different states operate, the other system, take the monies that they make, I feel, so you can develop your state. And I hope these governors, especially those that don't mean well, they will not take advantage of this and start taking the money for their personal agenda. Because this is money you're supposed to use to develop the state, not for you to eat.
Everything you're saying, I think, just boils down to the restructuring that we are talking about. it just boils down to restructure. When we're saying restructure, we mean reorganization of things.
Yeah.
Like things have to just be reorganized. It just has to be. What held sway maybe 20 years ago when our democracy was still fresh, it's not what holds sway now.
Yeah.
Things have to be reorganized. You need to give, the center is bloated. I think that's just, the center is bloated. A lot of things are coming back to the center. The states need more power. But just like you said, it will not start one day. But Wike is not ready to wait for 1 more month. Wike is not ready to wait for 1 more day.
Those are governors that are sure. Those are governors that are confident. Those are governors that know their potentials. Yes, and it's good this is happening now because we're already close to an election. So people should start waking up right now to look for governors that have ideas. When people are coming to campaign,
it just talks about the what our justice system.
Yes.
Right? This ordinarily, this all VAT collection and sharing thing wouldn't have even been a problem if the disparity wasn't this much.
Yeah.
If you had, Wike is doing 117 and is getting something close to that.
Yeah.
Not 50-something billion.
Mm.
You understand? If he was getting something closer to what they make,
that would be fair.
Not a quarter of that. I don't think that would generate as much, buzz as it did. In fact, it really exposed the injustice where a lot of states who don't even produce anything, they don't do anything, they just rely solely on this FAC, and then you are dragging with oil producing people, governors who are actually putting in the work, the effort, creating the environment, putting structures in place. So we can't expect people to just fold their hand. Now you can see the Lagos State government swiftly. They moved. The speed of light.
Because I want to talk about that because you said oil producing states. I don't want people to keep relying on oil producing state, and people keep using that as an argument against their states that don't have oil. But it's good you raised up Lagos State. Lagos State is not an oil-producing state, but that's the most successful state in Nigeria. No. So no governor should come and lay on that argument, we don't have oil, or you have oil. No, look at Lagos.
I think we cannot rule out the fact that Lagos was once Nigeria's capital. It's also the entertainment capital of Africa.
If any other capital city wanted to sit up and model itself to be a successful state like Lagos, they could have. I don't want excuses anymore.
In fairness, in trying to be a bit realistic, right? To some states, it's not all of these states that have natural resource or one minerals or the other. There are some states that, if you look at their history, by creation, some are just like offshoot of another state.
Very true.
If you look at Bendel and what it is now today, Edo and some other, like if you look at how Osun was carved out of Oyo State, right? So I think we also need to, look at the historical background of this state, right? Ultimately, like we said earlier, what would have even solved this is there's nothing wrong if Wike is getting a larger chunk, and a state like Osun, who isn't doing anything, is getting, maybe a quarter or half of what they remit, from VAT, right? It's still part of that restructuring. It's it doesn't have to. It doesn't mean, we don't even mean equality this time around. That's not the word we're looking for.
Let's see that you're doing something and you are really putting effort
to make something.
Because and those that are really doing the work, should be greatly rewarded and recognized at least.
Exactly.
Because I feel like Governor Wike was really angry when he made this move. He felt cheated. He felt like the government was being unfair. And Kaduna State may need to reconsider his bad thing, with the alcohol.
Because despite this money they get, most of these state governors still go as far as borrowing.
We're not even talking about that one, though.
A large
but we're not going to sleep on the fact, though, that if you don't want alcohol in your state, please don't take alcohol money from any other state.
Wike and his utterances, the way Wike says some things, people might think that this is kind of like a personal or a political vendetta that he has with the federal government. I just want people to understand that this is purely legal. Yes. Like, it's purely legal. What did the Constitution say about VAT? The Constitution was silent in, I think, the second schedule or so. So since the Constitution was silent, the courts have now interpreted it to mean that, okay, yes, the Constitution is silent about it, about this. VAT Act is silent about this. I think the FIRS Act is silent about this, which means states can collect VAT and I think some other kind of, personal income and so. So it is not political. That's what I just want people to know. It is not political.
Even if it is, it has a legal back.
Yes, exactly. It has a strong
and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I don't want us saying everything. Oh, this is political. This is that. I'm like, we need to start looking. I think
with Wike saying, Abuja people will not take our money. People are sky. It's always fighting the federal government.
People should ignore the way he says stuff. I think when we learn to ignore how he's saying something and figure out what is he saying exactly, we'll be able to move forward.
Intent rather than
anyway, is there anything you guys want to add on this topic, or we can bounce on that? Nothing to add, Abi.
Don't take alcohol money.
Yes, and people look out right now for candidates with great ideas. There's no excuse that we don't have anything or we cannot do anything. There are revenues to make money.
Set of elections.
Exactly.
Campaign should be people who want to drive the IGR for your state to see, I'm coming up with new innovative ways, ideas and all that.
Ask these questions. Don't just collect a bag of salt and go home. Because I will not talk about the issue again.
At the debate level, I think this is a very important question to ask.
Who could debate?
Some governorship debate, presidential debate.
Some, the good ones, the lazy ones will run and excuse why they will never show up for debate because they have nothing. If a governor is running from debate, that's a sign. Don't vote. Anyway, ignore I said I take the issue too personal.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Lagos State Government on Monday moved to stop open grazing and trespass of cattle on farmland in the state, proposing a 21-year jail term for any herdsman found with firearms in the state. This was contained in a bill titled Prohibition of Open Cattle Grazing Bill 2021, sent to the State House of Assembly by the governor of the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, which was passed by the House on Thursday. Reacting to the bill, Honorable Kehinde Joseph described the open grazing system as an aberration in the 21st century, adding that the bill would help promote peaceful coexistence between herders and farmers. However, the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria on Wednesday stated that the ban on open grazing in the state will not work for now. Miyetti Allah's zonal secretary in the Southwest, Makodi Usman, pleaded with the state government for more time, in quote, to tell our people and train them on how to breed their cattle in one place and not encroach on farmers' lands. He didn't understand that this statement was very indicting. Yeah, that was in quote. He also said, let me finish this quote, then we jump. Yeah, so he said if cattle are bred in one place, the price will go up to 2 million naira each. So this was a long talk on social media yesterday. Yeah, but what do you guys think about this move by the Lagos State government? I didn't see them passing it so fast though, okay, they presented the bill, went through first, second reading, then just for me to see yesterday, after even sending out the topics that the Lagos State government has passed the VAT bill, then they passed this prohibition on open cattle grazing bill as well and sent it to the governor for assent. So what do you guys think about the argument of Miyetti Allah? We heard Honorable Kehinde Joseph saying that this ban, will bring about peaceful coexistence between the farmers and the herders. Then Miyetti Allah came as well to say, no, this will stop peace in the land. And they're asking for more time. Well, I can understand with more time to prepare though, but since they've been talking about these things,
that's the point.
You didn't train your.
How much more time? How much time is more time? Because let us look at Benue State. Benue State in 2017, they enacted their own open and prohibition against open grazing bill. 2017. But from 2017 till now, I can bet you that over 1,000 persons have lost their lives in Benue State due to the clashes between herdsmen and farmers. So how much time is more time? You hear Miyetti Allah say, okay, they want to train their people, and that indictive statement to encroach on people's land, which means they know, yes, they know that these cattle rearers actually encroach on people's land. Yesterday, Yesterday, I just wanted to go across the street and get something. And then I saw cows. There was one woman that was, she has this her corn stand by the roadside. And these cows, they just went there and they just hit the woman down, started eating her corn. They just messed the whole place up. And, I now thought about this. Like, this is Abuja. That was
21st century.
The 21st century, for that matter. In Apo, cows were just, roaming the streets, just like that. They were just like unattended to. And then, only for me, just see one very, very scrawny, one small little boy just come.
That's a Fulani Hesman. Please speak with respect, please. I beg.
Senior citizen.
Exactly. You saw a senior citizen. Exactly. Show up.
Yes. So you see that I'm just using that woman's example to just show that woman had suffered a setback in her business yesterday. And this is what the Miyetti Allah are failing to realize, that the activities of these headmen, the activities of their cattle are actually making us in Nigeria suffer some form of hardship. I've had cousins that have lost their lives in Benue State due to this crisis. Very, very sad situation, very, very painful one. We also have these cattle, they just obstruct federal highways, they go disrupt people's business. And this ban actually has to hold. It actually, and Lagos State as a frontier state, they are always very, very quick with their laws, quick. They are a working state. It's good. Yeah. It's good. I like what they did with the anti-grazing bill. And other states should follow. Yeah. Maybe if other states follow, they will now begin to realize that this is not...
I think there's a deadline.
There's a deadline.
They have passed the deadline though, but I think because they gave them September 1 or whatever. And me, I'd already, we didn't talk about this. We talked about it behind the scene though. Me, I'm like, okay, Lagos State did not move. We even did a report on this, but it's still good to see them that despite not meeting the deadline, they're still trying to do that which they agreed to do, Yeah, so Mr. Wale, what do you think about this move? And also, like, I didn't put it in this report, but another group of Miyetti Allah, they have written to the National Assembly. It's like everybody's running to the National Assembly now. Any small thing right now, you run to the National Assembly.
Good. I think it's a good
democracy at work.
Yes.
To go and block state governors.
Protest. You are talking about National Assembly. If you send in propositions or you do a peace...
but I'm looking at why and the circumstances surrounding your sending of proposition. States are trying to better themselves. You're running to the National Assembly to stop them. So if the National Assembly stops a state governor right now from doing something that they feel will save the lives of his people, better its lands and whatnot, how do you feel that governor and his people are supposed to feel? Do you understand? You don't just run to the National Assembly just for personal gains.
This state to have representatives at the National Assembly, and everybody is trying to test the law. To what extent?
No, this is not testing. I don't want this is not testing of the law. I don't want it.
They have free speech.
It is.
So they are entitled for...
Until you consider this to a logical... I want us to get to an end where we say you've hit a roadblock. And so the law stands.
Okay, you've done yours. We have reached the
VAT. If we want it for the VAT issue, we can't say we don't want it for this same issue as well. Let's be realistic, right? So I feel... it's left for the Lagos State Governor to assent to that bill. Once he assents to it, it becomes a law, right? It's a very welcome development. Like I said the other time, that though this law will not stop these clashes. No, it won't. Once it is passed, what it will do is it will help us identify the criminals among them.
It now criminalizes their actions. Yes,
and we can now mete out appropriate punishment.
Legal one,
not take them, somebody accosted and release them, order their release. No. Lagos State has laws, extant laws that are enough to punish offenders. So that is good, a practice. And I think with, like you said, with Miyetti Allah running here and Delta Skelter, it shows that they are gradually accepting the fact that they cannot win this case against open grazing, right? If you look at USA, for instance, I think USA is the largest producer of beef in the world, followed closely by Brazil. And these people have adopted this ranch system. It's expensive, right? But it's doable.
Yeah.
Now, if you're threatening that a cow would go for as high as 2 million.
It's not compulsory we eat cow now.
No. Aside, let's even look at how the legibility and or the wise of it. So, if for instance, right, if the reason why you can sell cow for me at 400k or 600k is because you are encroaching on, they're eating free food on other people's this thing. Yes. I would say stop it. Then build a ranch and you're buying water, you're buying food, forage, foliage, whatever to feed them. And because of that, price of a cow goes to 1 million. So be it.
Better to lose money than lose lives.
It's better to lose, to spend money.
Spend money rather, yes.
Than losing lives.
You understand?
So it now gets to a situation where if a cow costs 1M or 2M, then I can tell you that, okay, I go eat cow this month. In the next 6 months, I will look for that dairy product. I will look for chicken. I will look for, some people can, if you see lizard in your area, if you get to that level, but like I said, this is where I was driving at. Maybe you were thinking I was supporting me. But I was just trying to
run into the National Assembly. But go on.
I was just trying to I want a situation where anybody who feels aggrieved about anything can go to the full length to challenge authority, to challenge the existing laws. So that's the beauty for me of democracy. Already,
let's just put our laws to test.
Yes, we've seen that this thing is not sustainable. Your people, you don't even have a control over them.
Another thing I want to say, they're talking about, okay, they can't keep their cows in one place. I don't know what they understand. I don't know what they understand as ranching. I remember the road trips I've taken in England, I've seen where they rear their cattle. When you're traveling on the road.
Very big, very fast land.
So it's not I don't want people to have this picture.
And it's cordoned off. It's confined.
Yeah, that the cows are put inside one place. It's very big land and they can still move from one place to the other. So to me, the argument is very invalid.
I think
massive piece of land, and we even have a government in Nigeria right now that's coming out to say that they will support
them.
Yes. There are many governments that want to even support. Normally, you should get those lands by yourself, but these are massive lands, and they move from place to place, and they train horses like that still as well and stuff. So all these arguments that we cannot keep them in one place, and we keeping them in one place, the prices are going to go up. And that still, please, let's not fool ourselves. Most of all these cattle are owned by rich politicians or businessmen in Nigeria.
There's no data to support that. There's no data to support that.
Yeah, allegedly. They are not for the poor Fulani headsmen complaining that the prices, no price will go up. Even if the price goes up.
But you talked about the ranch system. Very, very beautiful. I've read about ranching and all that in agriculture. But let us look at the culture of these Miyetti Allah people. They are actually itinerant people. They like to move from place to place. And Section 41 actually gives them that right to move from Section 41. Freedom of movement.
No. Let's not misinterpret our constitution.
No, I'm not misinterpreting.
Freedom of movement.
Freedom of movement from place to place. But I'm going somewhere.
Not trespassing.
Wait, I'm going somewhere.
Exactly.
I'm going somewhere. So Section 41 gives them that right. Okay, you can move from place to place. And that is the culture of a typical Fulani person. They move from place to place.
Fulani person that they claim most of them are not Nigerians, but go on.
Yes, they move from place to place. Well, actually, if they are going to make that argument, Section 45 actually blocks them, because Section 45 says, in the interest of public safety, good governance and all that, states can actually make laws that will protect and guard human lives. So I think the only argument they could have made was Section 41. That's if they were not killing people, if they were not causing destruction, allegedly, if they were not disrupting that corn woman's business, then they can make the arguments for Section 41.
Yeah, there was that one. There was the one on Lagos, the Third Mainland Bridge of the cow that bashed the car or whatever. It was a horrible accident on the bridge, and the car was just moving on its own. I didn't see any.
I'm even scared of those cows.
First-class citizen that was following the cow. They were
citizen. Yes. So that's just the argument that they could have. Maybe they could make that argument, and let's see where it goes.
Yes, so Lagos State Government, well done, to be honest, I'm just happy.
And Ondo State Government did earlier.
Ondo has done theirs.
Ekiti also has theirs. Ondo has theirs.
Ondo is receiving. What about these threats that the governors are getting? Are we going to talk about this, or are we going to sleep on that as well? Because these governors come out. I think I want to bring Rotimi Akeredolu just on his own, but Rotimi Akeredolu is receiving a lot of threats. He's trying to fight for his people. He was one of the first ones to move and pass signed this bill into law. He met the deadline, but what does he get? Threat message. There will be no peace in your land. No peace. Just like Samuel Ortom was getting as well. And when we talked about Ortom last week, we called him an alarmist, but when you see somebody like Rotimi Akeredolu right now, still receiving the same, but he's handling his a bit differently though, but he's still responding to them, letting them know that no, I'm not going to be threatened. None of you is going to come to this land and come and do whatever you want to do. That's not going to work. And he's smart. He's a son. So his approach might be different, but that does not stop the fact that he's still being threatened for making a law.
I see you're falling into that trap again of defending Ortom. Everything you have said is a son, he's smart. So you're saying Ortom is not. I mean, I didn't say that. But
you criticize his mode of approach.
But on a serious note, right? For me, a threat is just a threat, right? If a law is passed, hold on. If a law is passed, right, and you threaten me as the governor that because I have passed this law, you are going to create unrest. You're going to foment trouble.
Mr. Wale, there was an attempt on Governor Ortom's life.
We're not talking about
No, I'm speaking generally. Yeah, you say a threat is just a threat, and I disagree because I've
saying,
seen them threaten and I've seen them try to kill.
Yes, so when you have it, Ortom doesn't have the law. Yeah, it doesn't have the law that Akeredolu does have.
I didn't get you.
Akeredolu has passed that law.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And even his body language, you see, he didn't need to say too much. The Ondo State government didn't even need to say too much. He went straight.
He said something.
They went straight to business, passed this, and they got it done. So if these guys are saying, there will be no peace, there will be no peace, there will be no this, of course you put extra structures in place.
But mind you, Benue was actually the first state to pass the. And
that's why he was being threatened since now. All these ones are just coming now.
2017, all these ones are just this year.
So you pass the law is one thing. Enforcement
is another thing.
Yeah, but should it be okay?
See, when I talk about body language.
Mr. Wale, we'll address this issue. Should it be okay that I pass the law as a sitting executive governor of my state? Do these people understand what a governor is? A sitting governor has passed the law in his state. Then you have a group. I put the group here. You have a group, coming out to challenge a governor. Come on, man. And the group is just moving freely. Like nothing happened. Just moving freely. So should we wait for them to do something more than what Funam tried to do allegedly, which nothing happened? Because we have to make sure our governors are safe. Our governors need to feel safe in wherever they're ruling. I don't feel like as a sitting governor, because I passed this extra law, I need to now put up extra security because I'm scared of one group of people that are backed allegedly by a bigger force of what they're going to do to me or do to my people.
Yes. It's the thing. You see, the thing is because we're just limiting it to this particular issue. It's like in a state, for instance, if you ban alcohol, there are some section of that population that will be against.
Yes.
Right? They might even put out a statement to say they will do this and do that. You understand? And I think that's what Ortom has always called for. Even me personally, I don't even really know what this group stands for, the Miyetti Allah. Some say they are cattle this, some say
they are cattle bearers.
Yes, but their actions in recent times have shown that they're actually more than that.
They're on social media now.
Yes,
accounts
you understand. So I feel that state aggressors will continue to, when they see, especially policies that, for Miyetti Allah, like you talked about their history, rearing cattle in a confined space to them is a practice that is totally alien.
Yes. Yeah, we have defined that confined space no be confined space.
No, even by the definition of that your
ranch
as vast as you think it is.
So because of one group still of people, the entire nation should not rest.
He said something. He was saying something about enforcement of these particular laws. Now, how do you enforce a law? Maybe through the instrument of the police and maybe the military. But you find out that the police and the military are under the control of who? The federal government. Exactly. Which is why which is why I can make an argument for why Autumn is always crying, in the media and crying in the media, because, the police, maybe the police and maybe the soldiers and all that, and those instruments of defense are not actually helping him to enforce those laws. And again, one way we can interpret the backing, the impetus the Miyetti Allah has, is when we have senior government officials liking the practice of rearing cattle, roaming from one place to another, to those selling spare parts. The traders selling spare parts. So when we have this kind of senior government official backing them, saying something like banning open grazing is like banning those selling spare parts. They are emboldened. Yeah. But I want to ask a question. The people selling spare parts, where have they ever constituted a nuisance or trouble in the host community? Never. I've never heard of such.
That's where I wanted to reply Mr. Wale as well, to say like the alcohol thing that you raised an example as well in Kaduna State. We have heard about them destroying trucks of alcohol. We've heard about them banning even haircuts and whatnot. I've never heard that Governor Ganduje's life has been threatened. We have not heard, because it could have not been done in secret. We have not heard that there was this letter that was written to them by these group of people. So he does all those as the governor of the state confidently, and the people do what? They bow and they respect. So why can't they? I'm looking at fairness and equality here. So if this governor can issue rules, make decrees in his state, make laws and whatnot, I should be able to do the same, because what the system is looking like right now is that this one can do, this one cannot do. That's the system it looks like we're having right now. So for fairness, I do agree that the security apparatus is out of the reach of
it's within the confines.
Let me counter that, because I wanted to counter you on that as well. Yeah. So you talked about the security structure to enforce wherever you have said, and we have talked about the fact that security is controlled by the top as well. But now, even Akeredolu, we are seeing him enforce his law with his local Amotekuns wherever. So they are moving further. Yeah. So the security, in as much as they recognize one by the law. And
this was why I said that
Autumn.
All those threats Autumn gets and the things he's saying, it's okay to say them, right? Like I said earlier, I want to see internally.
Take more action, do something.
I want to see you. For once, don't even direct. Fine, if you're going to even direct all this issue to the president, it's okay. But for once, I want him to also take a tough stance. Say so and so on. These people causing trouble. We will look at a Wike. If it was a Wike state, even it's mere backing alone. You understand? Even if you feel aggrieved that your farm was destroyed, statements like that, actions like that are soothing. Temporarily, albeit.
Can we say Wike has the money to implement those particular
laws? I don't think it's just about the money. I don't think it's just about the money. Would you say Ondo have that kind of money as well? No. I just feel it's the word is proactive for me rather than reactive. I've seen him. We've seen him being very reactive, and it's okay to be reactive. But at the same time, I want to see actions. If you say in your state that you have people who are sabotaging, who are call them out. You're the governor now. Call them out and, enforce local securities. Put things in place that you can control on your own and say, I've tried to this level. Let me run to Asura.
I agree with you on that. That's where we agreed last week. Anyway, let's move on from that. So the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, on Monday called for an increase in the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB cutoff marks for students in the northern region of the country, saying that they should be given the same cutoff marks as their counterparts in other parts of the country in order for them to be competitive nationally and internationally. Governor El-Rufai made the call while speaking as a guest on Channels Television Sunrise Daily. So this is what he said.
The North has always been behind in education. We've been continuously an education disadvantaged region right from independence. Even though we've been given preferences, JAMB scores and all that, that has not helped. In fact, it has made our people lazy. So I'm against this differential JAMB and differential FGC scores. I think people should be encouraged to work harder and compete. And we are preparing our children in Kaduna State to be competitive, not only in Nigeria, but globally.
All right, what do you guys think about? Okay, why I even brought this up? We'll talk about education and not just in terms of classroom education. We've talked about education in terms of even picking leaders. Even demanding specific things from your leaders, even being taken advantage by your leaders. We have a governor, a very prominent governor in the north. I think these days I'm beginning to, because when I was younger then, when El-Rufai was FCT minister, I was not into politics then, man. I used to call this guy my role model, man. I loved El-Rufai. Because I watched him transform Abuja. Like, we were here. Our house was in Jabi there. I watched when they graded those roads. When they did it the first time, the thing was thin. They came to, I saw how thick this stuff was. I saw them do the sidewalks and everything. Even when he had his buses, he had his EFCC case.
Yeah, I was carried on with that.
I was with Rotimi and Akeredolu then doing my chamber attachment, and went to, were we presenting him or I don't know, I think we were presenting federal government or whatever. I was so in awe to see him in court. And we got to the court, he was there so early, before the court even started. I'm like, wow, this guy has integrity, because there was news that time that he was outside the country, and he released a statement to EFCC to say EFCC to say that he was back in Nigeria and he was ready to go to court. And I'm like, wow. Then, government changed and the perception of El-Rufai started changing. But me, in my mind, I felt like there's still something about El-Rufai. So hearing him like making these statements and the other statements he has made in the past as well, which seem like it's against his region or against his people, but they're really for the betterment of his people and for the region, for those that want to see it with their clear eyes. So him right now calling for because we heard about this JAMB cutoff mark, which JAMB said they are not even the ones that make the cutoff. There's the institutions that give the cutoff marks, because JAMB said they are not responsible. So if I have a uni right now, I can say the cutoff mark for you to enter is 120. And we have those schools that are reducing it to be so ridiculous. And he's saying that this is not helping our people. This is not helping our children, They need to increase this cutoff marks for them to be able to compete with other people around the world and not just within Nigeria. What do you guys think about this move or statement by El-Rufai?
Okay.
Good move or?
Yes, first of all, I'm going to applaud El-Rufai. Yeah. I say it's a good move. But he's targeting it at the wrong institution.
Exactly my thought.
Because...
Okay, did he target it at JAMB?
He targeted at JAMB. Oh. He said JAMB. Because, let me take you guys down memory lane and just run you through a line of thought. If you look at the North...
Maybe he didn't know now. Like, maybe he wanted to make... Maybe he wanted to make his point. Because I think the point here is made. Not looking at where is he targeted at. He has made a point. So, whether... it looked like he targeted JAMB. Maybe there's a mistake there, but if the unis know that JAMB is not responsible for the cutoff marks, whoever the message is for should take it around, not just the unis.
It's very, very important. It's very, very important who he directs that message to. Because right now, all eyes are on JAMB. But if El-Rufai had come out to say, the North, the policymakers, the Northern leaders should stop this practice that is inimical to our youth, to our students, then everyone will know that, okay, El-Rufai targeted this message at the right crowd. Because over time, let me say, prior to the amalgamation and everything, the people in North, they were inclined towards a particular kind of education, which is the Islamic education. And they felt that this kind of education was okay for us. They have their Islamic banking, Islamic everything. So they felt that, okay, education at that level was okay for them. Now, with the advent of colonization, westernization, everything, you now brought another system of education. And they felt that they were already educated. So lowering those scores, I'm trying to build you through a line of, walk you through a line of, lowering those scores was like an incentive to like boosting their morale. Okay, come to school, don't worry. We'll lower the benchmark for you. We'll lower the benchmark for you. Over time, when the use of a thing is not known, I think abuse is imminent. They now abused it, which means anybody now can just sit there at home and then they'll just say, don't worry, are we not Jigawa State? With 2 over 300, you are able to get admission into Unity. I'm very, very...
Yes, it's correct.
I'm telling you, Unity schools in Nigeria have this disparity. I think, reading for this program today, I came across shocking... It's intentional. I came across very shocking figures. You see a state like, let me say, Zamfara State. They'll tell you that to get admission into a unity school, that's all these federal governments, girls' college,
male 9, female 2.
Yes, they'll say male. They might say male 2, female 9.
9, yeah.
Then when you now go to a state
why is it higher for the female?
I think they expect women to go to school. They just expect women to go to
It's
school.
actually 2 male.
Is it? Are you
It's
sure?
actually should be 2 male 9.
Male 9,
Because
female 2.
Because I know that in the north, they just feel like, women should
Not
women should
women
go to
that should
women
not go to
breastfeeding,
school.
doing so many other things.
Yeah.
Okay, but those figures, you come to a state like, let me say, Kogi, or maybe Anambra,
yeah.
and then you now see higher scores.
Yeah.
You see something like 130,
JAMB cut off.
140,
Yeah,
over 300,
it's
just to
right.
gain admission into a unity school, a secondary school. 2 in Zamfara, 130. So which means if somebody should get like 4 over 300 in Zamfara, they will celebrate you. The king might even shake you. But if you get 100 in
You won't
Anambra
even
State,
get to school.
you will not even go.
You won't enter school, not to talk of.
So it is not JAMB. And JAMB over time, they don't actually set this cutoff mark for anybody. They leave it at the discretion of the institutions, which is what now brings us to the quota system, the catchment area, and all those things. When I was trying to gain admission, I was not reading through that JAMB brochure. I think that was 2014 or so. 2014 years or so. So reading through that, you find out that JAMB will tell you that 45% of admissions into university are based on merit. 35% is catchment area. 20% I think is at the discretion of the universities, which means 55%.
There's one educational disadvantage state.
Yes, educational disadvantage, which means 55% of admissions into our higher institutions are left at the discretion of, we know Nigeria now. Well, they will calculate that 35 and that 20 and say, now our own. Anything they can do with it.
Wow.
So El-Rufai, he's making a very, very good case, but he's targeting it at the wrong audience. It is meant for the northern leaders.
But can we ignore the audience and focus on the case?
It
that
is not-
making?
You can't separate until you identify the right people to channel
You
your
need to
message.
identify the
because
right
the message we are
party.
sending.
You need to
No, but at least this should inform those people that they're giving these low cutoff marks, that whoever is giving you these low cutoff marks does not mean your interest, or they don't have your interest at heart.
That's
at all.
what I'm trying to let you know is that Nigerians, we are this kind of people that we only act once it concerns us. So now the universities, they know that they're actually the ones that are complicit in this act, but no, they will not do anything. He did not talk to us now.
They were telling them now. At least let people know that.
Let me tell you something.
JAMB has merely issued a statement. Yes.
They know these things we are telling them. You know how?
The people.
Yes, even the people, their leaders, the government.
So you think the people don't want better for themselves?
Not as the highest number of out-of-school children.
Very, very true, Wale.
Southwest, precisely.
Northwest.
Sorry, Northwest.
Yes.
Thank you.
Where we have Kano and Kaduna.
Do you understand? It is Southeast that has the lowest. This is despite the quota system.
Wow.
So if you tell me they don't know, I'd be worried.
Which means, Wale, the quota system is as if failed.
No, Wale, though, if you're not educated, how will you even know? So some of them are just
people
used
might
to a
not know.
certain
But
pattern
I'm telling
of
you that
life,
the guys
and
who
they're
set
left-
these things there deliberately.
Okay, yeah. They come on. Those ones know. Now I'm talking about the people that are being taken advantage of.
So you think El-Rufai doesn't know? Is that what you think?
But he's saying right now that enough is enough. Now let's do better for our people. Should we not commend that?
I think
It's commendable. No doubt about
because
that.
I don't think he likes what he's saying right now.
Yeah, it's commendable.
You know?
And we've accepted that. Okay, so the message back to him should say JAMB is not your problem. In terms of JAMB don't give preferential treatment
at all.
Candidates. No. When candidates sit for UTM, it's at the discretion of the institution to say they want to. So having established that fact, now let's come back to the crux of the matter.
I don't know why I didn't care about that fact though. Why did I not care about that fact? I just cared about the message. I'm like, nah.
No, the message is good.
The message is good.
We don't dispute that. It's a very good, and it won't be the first person to
say this,
to call for that change. Yeah. It's there's what we call the political will. To want to say that you want to change something that affects people collectively. That is what the issue here is, because in his own state, there's just so much he can do as a governor to effect, even if he were to change the figures or how things are done. There's just so little he can do.
So he doesn't have any influence on what these universities can set right now as their cutoff marks?
beyond what the universities there's no way it can influence
at least for the state.
I think for the state universities,
one,
yes, for state
private ones should be good. I think private universities are out of this. Those state ones and the federal ones,
it can.
Federal
but
one,
for the
cannot.
unity schools, we still have to tackle. We still have to tackle the imbalance, and I don't know. That's what
just like you said, a good wake-up call. I just feel that this can serve as a catalyst, and we can say, in the future we'll get something. But for now, it is hard. You made a very, very good statement when you said we have over, I think, 4.1 million out of school children in the north, especially northwest. Even with the what they call the quota system,
exactly.
These guys, they don't want to go to school,
and
we are basically we are forcing them to go
unity
to school
in Anambra.
I think that's what we are just doing.
But when you're not used to doing something already, there has to be that process where we now have to start making you get used to it.
That's
like we that grew up in the South, me, I knew that you had to go to school. We did not even still like the school. I didn't like school, like you still cry, I don't want to be there. But see how we have turned out, and you get to appreciate it at the end of the day.
Speaking good English
and
now,
education on different levels are very important.
No, you see, the thing is,
and these are future leaders of tomorrow.
Simple.
So
if you make a policy for me, for people, even if I'm in the north, for instance, if you make a policy for people in the south or southwest, in the south, let's say, and you make a different policy for me in the north, it's not on me, it's on you, the policy maker. I'm just going to shrug off my shoulder and say, if you say I must pass in protect, I will learn construction, I will learn drawing by force, by fire.
Very, very true.
Because look at Anambra now, cut-off mark is 139.
139.
If you get 200 in Anambra, you cannot enter unity school. If you get 9 in the north, you will enter that same school that we are talking about. So where do we want to start from?
And these persons end up, at when we now want to use federal character principle.
Exactly, it's at the board. It's the one at the board telling you.
They will put everybody.
No, but to me, looking at the future leaders of tomorrow, I think education is very important. Like even me, though, like when I meet people that I've not really gone to school, maybe you don't have finances or whatnot, I tell people to educate themselves. I tell you can go and read books. You can educate even yourself. You just need to want better for yourself. Still, at the end of the day, you need to be able to compete. Even we at our level, we're still educating ourselves because there's still places you want to walk into and you can hold a conversation and all those, So I don't know. And this thing El-Rufai still said is still very important because these are the bulk of people that pick the leaders of this country. So that's why I felt like whoever is saying right now is very important. These are the people that determine the future of they are the 1.9 that come out. The states that you're saying, they have the lowest out of school, whatever. Very small percentage to determine who leads us in this country. So the more we fight for the education of the Northerners, I think the better for Nigeria, to me, or to be honest.
Very, very true for all of us.
Yeah, but I feel so,
At the end of the day, they still influence the
because
votes.
if they want better, we will get better. The way it seems. Exactly. So, anyway, let's get to our final topic for today. So President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday morning, as yesterday, arrived at the Samuel Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Hore, Imo State, on the invitation of the State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, to commission some projects. The president's trip was earlier met with some controversies, but he finally made it to the region in one piece. I think he has left now, Abi. Back to Abuja.
It was a one-day visit.
There was no news about his arrival. I didn't see that the president has arrived. I only saw that he has landed. So what did you guys think about the president? At some point, I was scared he was not going to go when they were like, there's seat at home, order here, there's the other here. There was the ones gathering pure water and gathering stones. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So but it's good. Like I saw IPOP come out on Wednesday to issue a statement to say that they never gave a seat at home order,
Did
IPOP did that. Yeah, that's an official one because they said whatever order comes from IPOP comes from Unamdi. It must come from Unamdi Kanu. So I don't know who gave that. In fact, the thing confused me. I was tired of people reporting the news.
Conflicting.
No, they did not.
Just like
did
the
they issue? I don't know whether they issue, but what did you guys think about the president's visit? It was peaceful, but I saw some media reports My social media guy, even yesterday, he sent me pictures of the streets of Hore empty. And I said to Daniel, you have sent me 5 pictures. These are different angles of the same road. I cannot report this. Yeah, so I saw people playing with this thing, though. I didn't just want to join the bandwagon. Then Daily Post did a report. They said, streets of Hore empty, whatever, people obey sit-at-home order. Then another second report from the same Daily Post. You say large crowd of whatever, commissioning whatever with President. I'm like, okay, what is the media doing at this point in time? I understand some people must have stayed at home out of fear because at the end of the day, safety first. But at the end of the day, he went there, nothing happened, then they had to start finding something else to talk about, which I don't want to talk about anyway. Mr. Wale, please.
I was going to talk about that now. We can't.
I'm not going to bring my...
But that shouldn't have happened.
I reported on it, though, because I was reporting on somebody saying whatever. So that's not me talking. I'm like, these are what these people are saying concerning whatever. But what did we think about the president's visit? Do we think this was an intentional move to pass a message? If Henry Okwa was here right now, he would say, the body language of the president. Did his body language read anything? We had him in Imo State speaking so highly of them, commending the peaceful scenery he saw, commending the infrastructure, even commending the people of the region, so I don't know where to place it right now.
Well, I think President Buhari's visit to Imo State is a good one to begin with, right? Of course, there's been an anti-Igbo narrative too that has always been going on.
Is it a narrative or is it a fact?
No, when I say narrative, like it's a section of people who holds that view. Another section of the people affected.
Yeah, exactly.
While another section of the people don't see it that way.
I think it's a large section of them that actually see it that way.
Why don't they see it that way?
I said, why don't they see, or what do they not see? Because even me, I'm not a section of the people.
Look
I
at
see
it
something.
this way.
Yeah,
you will see that in the East, there's just something that isn't adding up with what the leaders and the followers see about Buhari and what he has done in their states. You notice that most of the Southeast leaders, especially look at the Ohaneze Ndigbo, it was warmly received by them yesterday. And I didn't expect that this could have even been an opportunity for the IPOB and their sympathizers to stage a peaceful protest where they can air out their grievances, not to order a stay at home. And
Mr. Wale, what could have constituted a peaceful protest? Please, I want this thing to be very clear.
Yes, so a peaceful protest would be you just having only placards, not plank, not anything.
Mr. Wale.
Just the message you have on that placard alone.
Mr. Wale.
Yes.
This peaceful protesting, so I don't want us to just talk about this and just ride on that.
Gathering of people.
Let's even call it a demonstration. You even holding placards. We have seen, even in this Abuja.
Yes.
So I don't know what constitutes a peaceful protest in Nigeria. I'm just putting that out there. So to me, the most peaceful protest could have been sitting at home. To me.
Oh, that means okay. So that means you agree to this.
But they said they didn't give an order, so I don't know. But you talked about them passing a message. So I'm saying the only way to me they could have passed the message.
I just feel that I just feel that somehow, if these agitations are actually genuine, there's a way. You see, that's the problem I have with when a group don't have a defined leaders who can come out boldly to say we identify with this movement.
The leader is in
detention now.
They are soldiers.
Mr. Wale, you're going to be dragged for this comment.
They are foot soldiers.
Their leader is in detention.
I know. They are foot soldiers. They are command in line. If you understand what I'm saying, they are chains of commands. I'd expect that.
So if they come out, they'll arrest them.
You don't need to come out, right? There's a way you can reach out to the state government. I mean, if you make effort and it doesn't work, it's a different ball game. But then again, semantics. If you look at recent events where you issue a sit-at-home order and then a trailer load of truck of items or truck, whatever is coming into your state, belonging to your people, and then you burn it down. Therefore, sabotaging your own people.
Yeah.
So that tells me something. I mean, in as much as I'm not saying the government has done right by them all of the time, right? It sends a message. What is it? This is the question I am asking. What is it that their leaders see in Buhari? Because they don't understand that politics is about negotiation. We've seen Ebonyi, David Umahi defected. Look at what is going on in Anambra as well. Look at Imo State. You understand? So for me, I feel it's a very good optics, even for the upcoming election in Anambra State.
Let me ask the question though, because you said, what is it that these people see in Buhari? Do you think President Buhari should take any responsibility for the way he's being perceived in the Southeast? By that singular statement he made when he was elected as president and he went to the US or wherever and talked about the 5%, because that's never left their head. The 5% or the whatever percent that did not support him, and he said that they should not expect anything from him. That's a presidential statement. A very deep cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
People don't forget.
Exactly. So we cannot say we don't see.
Right?
Yeah.
But what we will now say is that statement, now, I mean, it's either a yes or a no, and I'm sure we're going to have people who think same or different.
Yeah.
Now, the question is that statement that he made about 5%.
Yeah.
Now, has it translated that into action?
Yes.
In terms of...
In my opinion, I say yes.
Okay, in your own opinion, you would say yes. But the way I'd like to look at it is, what has it done for these people? I think you can quote this. I think he has done more. This is Buhari now. I think he has done more infrastructure-wise in the East than even the government. When PDP were there, right? These guys were actually very loyal to the PDP government. Let's be honest. They were loyal to them more than the loyalty the APC would get at the moment. I'm just speaking facts now. I'm not even holding brief, right? Look at the second Niger bridge, constructed in the 1960s.
Why do we keep calling that bridge?
That's just one.
Yeah.
That's just one. I just want us to have a conversation around.
Yeah, but I will counter you with that and say these are people that have cried for 6 years to say we want to be part of the security architecture of this country. Can you make one of us a service chief? And for all the times the service chiefs have been changed, they have been ignored. How about that? A segment of the country that has no say at all in the security formation of the country. How about that?
That's why I said earlier that you would have people who would have opinions for and against. It depends on the lenses. Like for me again, look at the Biafra police pensioners that were pardoned way back. It took Buhari to pay it took over 2 decades to pay, to settle all their outstandings.
Which Biafra? The
Biafra police pension. No, there were agitations though. Serious one. There were agitations. If you look at the Sukuk bond too, the government has devoted almost 60 billion for construction of the Enugu-Port Harcourt the expansion, the road, even bridges and all that. So what I'm saying is that it's possible that you hold an opinion to say, when he made that 5% statement, he acted it out based on XYZ. It's also possible to say, no, despite the fact that we know to support this guy.
Well, you don't try.
But he has done this that we can point, compared to when we had somebody who we're even well pleased with. So those are two statements that can stand side by side.
So do you think the people crying marginalization are just bored?
The same question I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think the people saying Nigeria has been Fulanized or Islamized?
It's not Fulanized or Islamized.
We're on the way.
And I spoke about this last week and I spoke against. I said, I don't see any. We talked about the process. But no, you can't compare that with marginalization. No. It's easier for you to marginalize than for you to Fulanize and Islamize. Hey, no, I'm
very true. You're making sense. You're making all the sense.
It's easier for you to marginalize.
It is easier.
As the president.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the question you would ask is, which region is not marginalized?
I think the Southeast is worst hit.
Wait, which region
look at their composition first of all.
In terms of youth unemployment,
they have 5 states,
insecurity, and so many other things. I mean, which region can we even just name one and say, oh, this one? I know you've talked about lopsided appointments.
Yeah. Not just lopsided. It's just a security thing I know they've really cried for. You know, one of the part of this, the decision makers here, and they have intentionally requested for that. And all they keep getting is that, you have a minister here. Yeah, so we're supposed to have a minister there. We're not supposed to have a minister. We're supposed to have a minister somewhere based on the federal character and whatnot anyway. So what else can we take from the president's visit to the... Do you think because elections are coming, or do you think this was genuine? I was really looking, is this really genuine? Is this a genuine move? Everything he was saying there, is this a sudden change of heart for the people? Because even during his Arise interview, which was recently, Mr. Wale, you want to say, okay, yeah, 5%. The Arise interview, how did he speak of these people? He spoke about them in a very demeaning way. Like, are you speaking about... And he tried to lump all of them as Biafra. That was another problem.
And even with the tweets that, heralded the ban on Twitter.
I did not even go there.
And even the language that was used, he would treat them in a way which they understand. So I think just like Mr. Wale said, I'm sorry, I have to agree with Mr. Wale that on one hand, you can say that. No, I'm coming somewhere. On one hand, you can say that, yes, these people have been marginalized with so and so fact. But you can also say he has tried.
That's the distinction I was trying to draw.
We cannot dispute the fact that there is a marginalization.
What you can say is that, however, to agree with you, what you want is, at the end of the day, when you dig these issues and you place them on a scale,
you
can the good shoe outweigh the bad.
You can say it's 64. You can say that the evil, the bad outweigh the good. But to say that...
but I hate us personally though, I hate us saying our leaders or people that have been voted into power have tried. Which one is try?
But that is the level in which we found ourselves.
You see, I've not even said tried. I was being specific. I was even pointing out because it's specific when you talk about marginalization. I'm also being specific when I talk about fine. You people think it's being overflowed. Who talked about second Niger bridge? We don't want to hear.
Everybody's benefiting.
Look at the economic wise, where the linkage between states, interstates, what they can achieve with trade and commerce. It's huge.
And even the new airports.
Yes, it is huge. Even the Enugu airport, the runway that was renovated. Those things are huge. You understand? But nobody wants to talk about the good side. So we want to focus on what he hasn't done.
Really fault him is that 5% speech. Then we can also see where he said he would treat them in the language they will understand. Then this lopsided appointment, those are the only places that we can say, these guys.
But he went there to hail the economy of the Southeast. Is the president responsible for the booming economy in the Southeast?
I won't say so. I won't say so because if you look at the policies and everything, the body language I've been following, the happenings of the president's role with Southeast from when they initiated Operation Python Dance. And I'm like, okay, stuff has been happening in other parts of the country, and why this kind of brazen force for these people that they have the right to agitate for the creation of so and so? Because just like I was pointing out, I said they have only 5 states. But we have somewhere like the Northwest Northwest has 7 states. So they actually have genuine agitations that should be responded to. But over time, you find out that the body language of the president has been that, I don't know, but the body language is like, I don't like these people, but I have to work for them. I have to do something for them. That's how I just interpret the language. I don't like this. These people didn't vote me in. These people, I'm not sure they even have genuine likeness for me. Because when last has the president been in the Southeast? I think 2017. 2017 to 2021. Or maybe during his campaigns. That was the last 2019. 2019. Yeah. Did he?
I don't think it went there in 2019.
I'm not even sure. But I know that the last time I remember the president was Southeast was 2017. So the body language of the president is actually, I don't like, these people, I don't know. But I have to work for them. And he has actually worked for them. but there's more that has to be done. You see the detention.
To change the part.
Yes, to change, because the president's PR, there's no how. The president's PR in the Southeast, even with the stuff you say you don't want us to talk about, me, I felt that stuff was deliberate to make the president. I don't think it was to make the president an object of ridicule.
No.
Which is not supposed to be so.
No, let me counter that though, because when I received the report, I requested for pictures, because mostly when the president travels, I want pictures, when he's landing and whatnot. So they sent me, the news reporter sent me pictures, the social media person sent me pictures as well. Me on my own, when I looked at that picture in my own, I'm like, okay, what's this? Just for later, I saw that this blew up, So me personally even raised an eyebrow. I didn't see it and just know. I took note. I'm like, okay. Yeah, but for me to see it like blow up in the social media, I'm like, okay, unfortunate. Yeah, but that's at the end of the day, another question though, sorry. Mr. Wale, this one is for you. If the Imo State governor was the PDP governor, do you think the president could have been in Imo State?
I think a president going to a state doesn't just happen by happenstance, for the sake of happening.
If he was invited by a PDP governor, do you think he could have been there?
I'm not Buhari. Yes, because that's what you're trying to do.
He's asking questions like a lawyer now.
Because basically, what you are trying to say is that if it was a PDP state, would Buhari, if there's a governor among these PDP states in the East who feels that he has done a lot of groundbreaking projects. We've seen Wike Commission project where he has brought
past presidents
past presidents and all that.
But not the president.
No, that's what I'm saying. You understand?
But he has hailed the president.
So if you, from part of the bailout that was given to you from the federal government, you use it to build infrastructure in your state and all that. And when you want to launch your road construction or whatever it is, even what happened in Imo, it's not, there's no law that says that for you to commission anything, the government, the president must come to you. But at his discretion, if you invite him and he honors your invitation, all well and good. If you even perceive that it's a no-go area for me to even send in an invitation, then you make do with whatever you want to do. So I don't think that if he was a PDP governor, yes, he may not have even extended that invitation. Or if he did, the president may decide not to,
Okay. What did Buhari commission in? Do you think those projects were groundbreaking for him to go and commission? Then this culture, this culture, we're talking about restructuring, we're talking about doing away with some practices that we've had over the years, which I suppose some of them are waste of resources in my opinion, This culture of inviting presidents and whatever to come and commission projects. Do you think we need to continue with this, or is this something that we should dump in the gutter and move forward and focus on governance? In my opinion, you've never done something really. You're inviting presidents to come and commission. Can we stop that practice, or do you guys think that's something we need to continue as a? I'm totally against the practice, Work. We elected you to work. The fact that you're working does not, you have done that road. So what should happen? Heaven should fall down? No, you were brought in here to work. Build hospitals, build roads, build infrastructure, transform the education. Don't need anybody to come and tell you thank you every day. What am I telling you thank you for? Then when I say, you have tried, you have whatever, go there and work.
It's the kind of politics we're running.
But
if I'm the president and some state governors, in my party are doing something good, if I see it's going to bring me good optics, I'll jump.
Yes, you jump at it. But, I wanted to say, Mr. Sal, I think our heart is beating at one, because I was just thinking about that, waiting, why?
Me, I didn't see anything. If it was like what Sanwo-Olu brought him for, so I'm like, okay, Sanwo-Olu, you have done something, or the federal government put something really outstanding here, of which still I'm still against even you going to commission.
In my opinion, there's no need. You've erected an edifice, open it, let everybody start using it. The airport, open it, let planes begin to. Why all the fans?
I think it's private firms that should be doing commissioning, not government. Government is there to work,
the finances that might even be used, like welcome the president, might be substantial enough to maybe raise some buildings or do a lot of work or even grade a road.
And the time the president spent in that place, he could have spent it on other important issues going on in the country.
Assenting to some bills and all that.
Yeah, so Mr. Wale does not think so. So we agree to disagree on this issue. We have overspent our time. So, Mr. Wale, do you want to bring up your issue, or should we just jump?
No, I think that's so much.
Yeah,
talking about other events that makes the rounds in the news. For me, I think it's worth commending Kaduna State Government, local government
election.
Recently held. I think use of deployment of electronic voting machine, it's a strong message.
On the insistence, he insisted, Abi?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But they could decide to use this power and say, let's go the ballot paper way.
Yeah.
And, so even that they want some councils and lost some.
He lost in his own word as well. It's in his word as well. And he came out to accept it with a great heart.
Accepted the result. Yeah. So I think little wins. Here and there.
No, we can't sleep on that. We talked about El-Rufai right now. I think he has some integrity, though. People just try to bring up that religious boycott thing. Because it takes a lot for a governor. He could have easily not spoken on that loss. For him to even still address it and accept it and say, yeah, this is what democracy is supposed to look like. This is what free and fair elections are supposed to look like. I really applaud Governor El-Rufai because they say we don't talk about good things. When the leaders do something great, we should.
That one. To see other state governors,
do or die. And imagine this practice goes on in the 2023 general elections. Come on, man.
Just like
that would be a great
step. In 2015 with the card readers and all that.
That would be a great
elections have more credibility.
So well done to the governor of Kaduna State and to INEC and because it's the state governor and the local government where they have to comply, they're not going to want to act too out, and whatnot. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. We've come to the end of this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to page 36 TV on YouTube, like this video, comment, and share. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.